Okay, hi. Hi. Anyway, this feels weird. Some of you guys might know that I am currently in South Korea. Well, I'm in the quarantine hotel room in South Korea. Some of you guys who don't know me at all, 2021 is the year that I quit my job. I moved away from New York City, which I have lived in for 12 years, to move back home to Boston. But not only did I move back home to Boston, my plan was always to come here to Korea. And for those of you who I was quite vague to in real life in person about sort of my plans and where I was going, I apologize. It was just that my idea and my plan to come to South Korea felt kind of crazy. I didn't know if it would actually pan out the way I thought it would be, because there were just so many factors in it. So I apologize. I have been a nurse practitioner working with children for the past 6 years, and then I was a registered nurse for 3 years before that, and I kind of got tired of healthcare. It's been a long time coming, but I quit my job, and now I'm halfway around the world in South Korea. I know, it's kind of crazy. So this video will be sort of gonna break it down into what I am doing here, how you can also get here or stay here for a longer amount of time, especially I guess if maybe some of you guys who are watching or might be interested in coming over, and sort of my plan for the future. So what am I doing here? Sometimes I want to answer, I don't know, but I do. Better question would be how did this plan come about? Well, we're gonna have to go back to February of 2020. I don't know, something came over me and I was like, I'm gonna learn Korean. I just wanted to learn another language, a foreign language that I really didn't have any comfort in. And I just was like, I went to TT Mick Talk to Me in Korean, and I bought a whole set of books. It came around Valentine's Day. I remember because I was like, oh, this is going to be my Valentine's gift to myself. And then sort of the little seed came from that. I was like, I'm going to learn Korean. I'm committed to learning Korean. And then it kind of spiraled or snowballed. And I was like, oh, what's the best way to learn Korean, or the best way to learn any language is just complete immersion. And from my own experience of having to learn Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, and to really get better at Cantonese, Cantonese Chinese is my mother tongue, but growing up in America, I didn't really have to use it. I didn't really know it. I would stumble and fumble trying to speak in Cantonese, but it wasn't until I had to work at my job, my last job for the last 6 years in a predominantly Chinese community, where 5 days a week I was just basically stumbling and trying to communicate in Cantonese and Mandarin. And that experience was really challenging at first, but really, really rewarding. And I firmly believe that I would not have really gotten better Chinese language skills, if it wasn't because I was forced to use it. And so then this idea snowballs, the best way to learn Korean is if I force myself, if I create some sort of situation where I have to use Korean. And the best way to do that is to go to Korea. And then you know what? I want to live in Korea, because I'm just sick of this anti-Asian BS and stuff going on, because again, it's the beginning of COVID-19, and hearing all these stories about anti-Asian hate crimes and people being actually my patient, teenagers, they're scared to take the train to go to high school, because in New York City everyone takes the train, kids take the train to go to high school. they're scared to take the trains because if they cough or sneeze, like someone might, like they feel like they'll be at harm, like their safety was in jeopardy. And that really, I don't know, that really got me thinking, like, I wonder what it's like to be in a place that has people that look like me. Understand that, like, I will still be a foreigner wherever I go. I mean, sometimes I still feel a foreigner when I'm in the US, but just the fact that they look like me, I think, I don't know, I was really intrigued by that idea, or I had that desire. So anyway, I had this crazy idea February of 2020. I even told my mother, who was not very happy with me. I told her, I was like, I'm gonna move to Korea. I'm gonna do this. And she's like, what the hell are you gonna do there? Like, I was ready. I was ready to like see how I could make it over here, to like see if I don't know, like it. See what this crazy idea, why I had this crazy idea and what it's meant to bring about. But then, so y'all know, COVID-19 hit the world. I think by March, everyone really felt its presence, really knew it was something to be taken seriously. And so I felt like my dream or my desire was like put on hold, but never extinguished. Like, I still always had that desire to be in Asia. And what really happened was, over the course of 2020, I enrolled in my master's of public health. And then that actually felt like my dream transformed from wanting to learn Korean, but also then wanting to experience the healthcare in Asia and healthcare systems in Asia. I have experience of healthcare and healthcare systems in the US, but I don't know what's going on in Asia. And during the pandemic, I felt like you could see that the government and the public health officials took COVID-19 seriously, and that they were more prepared, maybe because of their experience with SARS. Like, I felt like that was, I don't know, I wanted to see it in action, experience it. I don't know, I felt like there was something to be learned here. How you can get here. So how you can get to Korea, how you can stay. I'm gonna pause.
You will have to wash your towels by yourself.
I have to wash my towels.
Items when you leave. That is for contaminated products.
How you can come to Korea. As a US citizen, there really is no issues. You can come and you're allowed to stay for 90 days without a long-term visa. As of September 1st, though, you do need to go online and get something called a KETA. And I think it costs 10,000 won, which is probably, I don't know, $9 or something. So I actually did it, even though I didn't need to. And it really takes 30 minutes. You could do it all online. You just fill out some information. It's like really no big deal. If you want a long-term visa, the easiest way you can do that, or the easiest way you can stay in Korea for long-term, is either teach or be a student. February of 2020, I was overtaking my idea that I needed to move to Korea. I was like looking into teaching in Korea, but there always seems to be like mixed reviews or maybe lukewarm reviews of teaching in Korea, as well as when you teach in Korea, I think, especially when you do, I think, is it EPIC or something like that, you're not really guaranteed to be in the city that you want to, especially if you want to be in Seoul, where I think a lot of people are. You're not guaranteed. It'd be easier for you to go to other cities in Korea, like Busan or Daegu, as well as you would never know what it's like at the school you're in, the schedule, your co-teachers, etc. I don't know, it made me kind of hesitant to want to become a teacher. Instead of being a teacher, you can come to Korea and get a D4 visa, which is for education, when you apply to Korean language programs, which is like, ta-da, that's like one of the main reasons why I wanted to come to South Korea, is to like be fully immersed in the country, in the language. I love learning. I love acquiring knowledge. I love reading. Being a student for me is super, super easy. Like, I have no resistance to all the hard work that it takes to learn. So that option really, really appealed to me. There are many different Korean language programs you can apply to. There are a lot that are associated with universities. I just went with Seoul National University. I just applied to that. Applying to that just required like a short personal essay. I don't know, some paperwork. I don't know. I basically got that application done in a matter of like, I think a few days, like 3 days or something like that. No more than a week. And even though Seoul is like a top 3 university in Korea, I don't think getting into the language program, I don't think is that competitive. Because one, you're not getting like a degree from them. You're just getting like this personal benefit of acquiring the language. I think that any of the language programs you apply to, I don't think they'll be that competitive. But if you just want a sure thing, there's also Korean language programs that are outside of universities, that they're just language programs, and you can just apply for that, pay the tuition, and then get a D4 visa, which allows you to stay, I think, for as long as you are taking the language courses. For SNU, Seoul National University, the language courses run in 3-month sessions. It's really less than 3 months, but then was to be able to stay in Korea for longer, for at least 6 months or a year, etc. Even though I wanted to come to Korea to see what it's like, to experience like being in Asia, maybe like Asian healthcare system, or how Asians view health, or I guess specifically how South Koreans view health. I did not pay for the 2 semesters, only because I was like freaking out about like how I would have income and what I would do here. Honestly, sometimes I still freaking out. I tricked myself to actually go through with the decision by saying, okay, 3 months. Like 3 months, you can do anything for 3 months. You could be unemployed for 3 more months, etc., etc. Trick myself to like get myself here. And I guess let's see in the next couple of weeks or months like how this goes. Once they notify you of your acceptance into the language program, you basically only have like 5 days or a week to decide if you want to commit to the program, to pay for your tuition. And if you want the D4 visa, you have to pay for 2 sessions. What I wish I had done, I think, was that I did pay for it, got my visa, because at least with SNU, you always have the option of getting a refund. I think up until the first day of class, you can get 100% refund. Because with the D4 visa, with a long-term visa, you have more options for quarantining. The only thing that made me regret not having the long-term visa was the option that I could save a lot, like I think save at least $500 or something, or maybe $700 on quarantining. Hi! I'm popping back in. I was editing my video and I felt like maybe the story wasn't over or the video wasn't over. I kept getting interrupted by all of the messages over the intercom and speaking over and over again. Because I was getting interrupted, that I felt like I lost my train of thought. But overall, I feel like I'm more of a storyteller than like giving you like a very clear framework of everything. So the part I felt like that was missing was like, what is my plan now? I went over how this, idea of coming to Korea came about. I think I went over sort of how I got here and the SNU Korean language program, and my original plan that I really wanted to stay, 6 months or a year or something to really get a feel of whether I would like to be in Korea for long term or not. But I think just like life and most things maybe don't ever turn out exactly the way you think it will when you start planning it in the beginning. So I'm only here for 90 days. I don't know what is happening next. I'm here to learn Korean. I'm gonna learn the language, I'm gonna go explore some sites, go drink coffee and explore cafes. Like that's part is, I don't know, I think clear and easy. But there is a part of me that really is unsure what like the path is for me in terms of career, what I'm gonna do for income. And I think staying in Korea is not the hard part. It is easy to sort of just pay for the program to continue to get a visa as a student. But the hard part is like, can I make it like feasible to be here, to live here, to make a good income to cover the bills I have to pay, my responsibilities? Can I do that? Can I like thrive here? And I don't know, but if you guys are just curious, if you guys just want to follow me along this journey, I am just gonna try. This is not something that is really in my nature to sort of show people the process, because I have always been naturally afraid of failure, but I'm willing to just let you guys in, see what I'm going through, see maybe the ideas I have, how I can implement them, things I'm willing to try, avenues I would go. It's basically sort of an adventure in, what is adventure in? I don't know, adventure in so many things, but it's an adventure. So if you are just curious, if you are rooting for me or not, I mean, there's, I don't know, maybe haters out there. Please don't be a hater. But if you are just curious and want to join me along this journey, I am going to be released from quarantine soon, but I am going to be in Seoul for 3 months. And I'm just going to document my time here, but I think try to do the best I can in documenting like what I am trying to do with my life, career, and the combination of things I know, my experiences, my passions, and I don't know, mixing it all up together in this sort of beautiful place called Korea. Join me along, press subscribe, like, comment. Bye.